Today on Project Shop, I'm going to be attempting to mount my wire stripper to the back side of my transformer table. Back in the day when I had my homemade wire stripper, which I'll make a video on that coming up soon, I actually had a steel plate. You can see this hole here. I had a steel plate with just a piece of angle iron, and it came out to about here. And then I had this wire stripper, you know, hanging off here on tons and tons of wire. Actually, we ran it this way, the wire, and we'd feed it going that way. And I would put like a bar here or here somewhere and just lay big knots of copper. We'd stretch out all the copper first and lay it over the bar. And then once we were set up, we would just run the machine. Well, I'm gonna put the machine back here, and I saved some plates from that big transformers, those big transformers that I just broke down. So we'll deck it, and then maybe even make like a fold up little side table, and then we're going to make a wall here so that the wire doesn't interfere with the presses on the other side. Now this table, I actually built, I got these two I-beams for free, and I had them laying around for a while, and I wanted a welding table. And then I bought this 2x4 steel here. I was actually going to make runners for my F350, you know, homemade ones, heavy duty. But the table came up, I needed that. What I did is I took these are actually 4x8. The table's 4x8. These are 8 foot long, and they're completely parallel and they're completely level. I welded these, there's 3 of these welded across. I flipped these over, leveled them, made everything was square. And then welded them to these three things, and then built the supports. And this thing is rock solid. And originally, as a welding table, I was going to get 2 more of these I-beams and put them in here so that I can move them back and forth, and then just have loose plates on top, which I could clamp down with things like this, because I wanted it kind of like modular. You know, I actually built this press on this welding table before I converted it into the transformer table, because I needed something to hold the weight of like 3,000 pounds of transformers. And when I decided to do that, I figured this side I could have 3 people running it, 1 person prepping the transformers, 1 person breaking them, 1 person punching out the cores and separating them, and then have 3 people on the back side, 1 person prepping wire, 1 person feeding the machine, 1 person cleaning it up. This table can make a ton of money per hour and just chew through some copper. So because I'm going to mount the wire stripper here, and then I'm going to mount this prototype stator electric motor wrecker on the front. And it actually, I used to have it mounted here when I was building it as like a prototype. And if you look back at some of my earlier videos where I was using my granulator and my water sluice, I had set up right here on the back side of this table. You know, and it was crazy. It was the water sluice was all going through here and mounted up. It was just a prototype I built. It worked great. And we're going to build another one here soon. But anyway, I'm going to mount that back up here, and then basically turn this into a stator wrecking table. And eventually the wire stripper is probably going to have to move, and then I'll put a massive shear to split the stators back on this side. And I got a couple ideas. I might do it 2 different ways. And then this press, I'm probably going to rebuild this and then build a new cross piece here. And then instead of having this where it slides onto that rod, I'm going to make it like this, to where it'll slide out of that track, and then you can just make any type of attachment you need and just knock them in and out, you know. So that's what we're doing today, and let's see if we can get it done. All right, this is where we're at. I'm actually going to take these loose, take them back loose again, and then slide these down so they stick out of the end over here. And then I'm going to use them to mock this up on this side of the table. So it's going to work out great. These beams, I'm going to put them in there, and they're going to do 2 functions. All right, we got it on there. Looking pretty good. I like the height. It's hanging off the table just like this press. This press here is actually just this little piece right here. And you can see underneath it's just kind of clamped on. There's another 2x4. That's what I love about this table, man. Back in the day, when I fired all my help, I actually turned this press sideways and it was hanging off right here. So I was actually operating both these machines at the same time. This used to have a 20-ton pneumatic jack that had the exact same thing like that. So I could actually just put it on there and leave it and then turn around and operate this machine while that was breaking it. Transformer. This here used to operate with a foot pedal that I got from Harbor Freight. But anyway, what we're going to do is turn the table a little bit, and I got all this clamped up. I'm going to go ahead and mount that right now and get it up here, and then you know, before I go drilling holes and stuff, I'm going to get it mounted and see if there's any. All right, we're back at it. This thing's looking good. I'm actually gonna move this over so it's center with that line. But we're gonna bolt down these beams I put down in there. Wire stripper's looking great. I like the height. I'm actually gonna probably build some type of thing right here to protect wire from going back into it. I got enough of this panel to deck all of this. And then this one here will be, I got 2 pieces of that to protect it from, or protect those machines from getting the wire all tangled up in it. I got some self-tappers to screw that down, and I'm gonna make a little brace wherever I decide to put this. If I decide to move it forward, I'll probably leave it forward a little bit so I can put some tools right here while I'm working. But I like how it's coming along. It's coming along pretty good. I'm happy with it. And I went to Home Depot, or the Home Repo. This stuff was like almost $70. That thing was like I think $19, and then $50 in hardware. I went with 5/8 for the 6 points for the main beams, and then I bought a bunch of a little bit smaller diameter for I think it'll actually fit in here. Yeah, that's perfect, because I actually had this bolted up here before, so I have all the pieces. I just don't know with these beams coming through if I'm going to be able to utilize them in the same configuration I had them before, or I'm just going to have to figure something else out. Which is, this thing is pretty cool because it's, you know, you just bolt it together any way you want, and there's so many different ways you can do it. It's pretty cool. And then when I'm done, I might just build one brace up to it, because this thing's going to be you know, putting some weight. There's not going to be any stress on the table, because all the stress from the machine is going to be between this point and up here. It's just like that press. It's just kind of sitting, floating on the table. You know, it's independent from it. So we can bolt whatever we need to it and figure it out. All right, I'm done for the day. Still got a couple more things to do. I think I'm gonna put some wood up underneath of that. I'll do that tomorrow. But I got those big old 5/8 bolts cranked down, double nutted with lock nuts, straighten that beam right out that was bent. got 4 big self tappers. So this lid from that transformer that I strapped is solid, and then I put little aluminum angle brackets there, and a whole big old one back here. It goes all the way across. So that's literally solid, you know. And then I had a scrap piece of aluminum diamond plate. I took tap conduit to this, stop the wire from going back. Those are the sides of the transformer. These were the front or back of the transformer. This here, I'm actually going to have to move this back. It's going to interfere with this machine here. But I wanted to fold out, see, a little fold out thing. This is a Siemens. This was some big old switch gear. And basically, I just, those were the original hinges from the door. I wanted to mount it the other way because it had the lip, but it was just so much easier just to do that. And I'm actually going to move it down probably as far as I can, because I need to be able to sit right here in front of this machine to break down motors. But all this stuff was repurposed, and which I like to do. And then I also put a brace on that to the press up here, so it's pretty solid. I'll probably put another on the other side. I had to cut around there, but this thing's coming along good. I'll get into this machine here. My 55-ton Ramco. This thing's a beast, and I custom built that. That's for breaking down stators and motors, and that's what all this stuff down here is for. I'll get into that in another video, but that's the progress we made. I'm going to go pick up some wire, and we're going to try this thing out. I'm going to fix this gap so wire doesn't wind up going underneath there. I got a plate I'm going to put here. I'm not going to do it today, but eventually I'm going to put another plate back in here to separate these, and I need to build some type of system to hold my windmill to unravel big coils of wire. But as of right now, the wire stripper and the transformer presses can operate at the same time without interfering with each other. And then I got my Super Boom cherry picker with some counterbalance. We're gonna pick this thing up here, and I actually need to center this over here more. So we're gonna figure out how that's all gonna get mounted. And just want to show you real quick how I made this. This just slides in and out, and you can put any type of attachment you need for whatever job you're doing. This is for breaking stators and motors, and I'll get into all that later. But right now we're just going to get this mounted to where we can actually start building the hydraulic system around it. Okay, the battery died, but this is where we're at. I went ahead and mounted that beam underneath there. I torched through here and put a huge bolt in there. And then this one here, I took the big bolt that I struggled to drill those holes in. I just took it right out of there because this is cantilever. So all the pressure right here, it's actually pushing up on that side when you think about the physics of what's going on. So that bolt wasn't that important. This bolt here is going to be taking a massive amount of weight, so that had to be beefed up. And then once I brought it out here, I tied them all together, and then spaced it back up so it's all even, and I'll put it up there, show you where it's going to be. So it's roughly going to sit like that. And then once I'm done and I have everything the way it needs to be, I'll build some feet. But it's got to be centered here, and this is where you'll be working right here. That's why it's got to hang over, so you can you know, operate the different tools you need. But I'm happy with the way it's coming out. Tomorrow I'll put the press back together and get it bolted, somehow bolt this down. Probably drill some holes in here or something, but that's it for today. All right, so this is where we're at. I actually used some leftover steel from them transformers that I broke down recently to secure this down to it, and this is all temporary. Eventually this is all going to get welded in place, and then this has to be redesigned, but I need to get this up here and get all the hydraulics worked out and where the other machine's going to go. But this is what I got so far, and this is going to be the whole machine. There'll be a hydraulic cylinder back there mounted to a trolley where this what I'm going to call is a ramrod. It's going to be connected with like a universal, so it'll be able to move pretty much anywhere. And then also there'll be a hook on the trolley that this will connect to. This will be hanging off of here on like a spring, or I might even do a like a weight with some cable. But anyway, this will all be plated, probably to a foot, either 16 inches past here, so I can put some big motors in there, or whatever. And then I'll probably have 1/2-inch plate and then a big slot across here, so that I can get a big blade in there. This will kind of look like this, and then you'll have you know, you'll be sitting right here operating this. So you'll need a foot pedal down here to operate this, and both hands on that, and then probably some valves right here. I'm gonna see if I can't do valves and possibly a foot pedal. So to do it that way, to have two things, I might have to go with electric valves so that I can have a switch here and a switch there. But they got to be progressive switches to where you can ease into it. It's not just going to be you know, on or off. But anyway, basically how this will work is you'll put your motor in there, stator, alternators will be easy because the whole thing is cast aluminum. You'll put it in there, clamp down on it, and then you'll come in with some horizontal pressure, and this will have multiple attachments. And then basically you'll just ram this right through the middle and punch out the core. And the video that I seen, and I can't find the video anymore, but the guys, I think they were Italian, but they had this machine, and I'm not easily impressed by much, but this machine impressed the hell out of me, and I wish I would have seen it years ago because I would already have this built. But basically he even broke down transformers like this, put this in there like that, came down on it with a blade, split it right down there to the steel, turned it over, used his thing, and ripped it out. And it was super fast and easy and efficient. Alternators, he just came down and literally just cracked the case and then punched the core. And then the center of the alternator, that funny looking thing like this, it's full of copper in the middle. He pushed that apart. So stators, I'll be able to take this out right here and put a big blade in here, and then just split the stators, run them back through, and pull them out one of them. And actually probably somewhere over here, I'm actually gonna either over here or up there somewhere, I'm gonna make a shear that's dedicated to splitting the stators. But this is where we're at right now. This is actually operational. I can actually stick my 25-ton ram right in here, and it's set up for it. I had it in here before. I can start running this press and do stuff. All the structural is right here, you know, the stress. There's no real stress on this. This is just holding up the weight. And I got up there with my 260-pound self and bounced on it with this like that, and it didn't move. It's pretty strong. So eventually it's all going to be welded in place, but the main reason I bolted everything is because it's still a work in progress, and I don't want to make it permanent and be grinding welds. When I have to change something, I can just unbolt it. It's much easier. So at this point, what I'm going to do is rotate the table back over there, and we're going to fire up the wire stripper. I got a bunch of wire, and I got some really cool videos. I'm going to show some trade secrets on how to strip burnt copper wire, BX cable, Romex. You know, I started out not having a stripper, so I learned the fastest way to strip by hand, and I'll show you all those secrets. And we're actually going to take my windmill, and when I strip copper, I like to have a vise. So somewhere over here, I'm going to mount a vise and somehow get that attached on here too. So that'll be another video, but we're ready to go, and it's time to start making money with this table.